Investors looking for both growth and income are generally looking for companies with stable earnings growth and a solid dividend yield. Oftentimes, these companies are more mature, larger cap companies that no longer have the kinds of spectacular growth rates as younger, smaller companies, or like they themselves probably had when they were earlier in their growth cycle. Consider this. An idea that generates $1 billion in profits for a $1 billion company represents a 100% growth rate. But that same $1 billion idea applied to a $10 billion company represents only a 10% growth rate. In other words, it is much harder to move the needle on earnings the bigger a company gets. Many of these companies are generating huge amounts of cash, but because of their size, may not have the growth opportunities they once had. So many of these companies will pay out a portion of their earnings to shareholders in the form of dividends. A growth and income investor will want to look at a number of fundamental factors like a company's balance sheet, its competitive advantage, and its management. But the most tangible proof that a company is worth holding for the long term is earnings. You don't necessarily expect to see explosive growth, but you should look for steady and consistent growth over time. A company that generates solid earnings growth is in a better position to raise its dividend over time too. Here again, earnings estimate revisions are the cornerstone of the Zacks Rank. Whenever you find positive earnings revisions, you will generally find a company moving in the right direction, making it a candidate for long-term ownership. There may be fewer of these stocks in the Zacks Rank number 1 group, but there will be plenty of number 2s, and you might even consider some number 3s for the larger cap companies. As you know, you'll typically have a longer holding period with a dividend-paying stock, but a decline to a Zacks Rank number 4 or number 5 can be an early warning sign that business conditions are worsening, and therefore that it is time to take profits and get out. Tracy E. of Haverhill, Massachusetts shared, "I find the service Zacks provides in selecting and ranking stocks to be very helpful. They do the heavy due diligence investigation before ranking each stock. That relieves me of a lot of necessary work that needs to be done prior to a stock purchase."